So we have to talk about the Republican Party under Trump being an unabashed cult. Like, we have to talk about that. And I think that a lot of us sort of realize that, but Republican House member Adam Kinzinger from Illinois got a letter from his family that is absolutely off the walls, saying that he not only disappointed his family in standing against Trump, but that he disappointed God himself. It says here, Adam, oh my, what a disappointment you are to us and to God. We were once so proud of you and your accomplishments. Instead, you go against your Christian principles and join the quote-unquote devil's army, Democrats and the fake news media. How do you call yourself a Christian when you join the quote-unquote devil's army, believing in an A word I can't say, it'll probably get demonetized? We thought you were quote-unquote smart enough to see how the left is brainwashing as many so-called good people, including yourself and many other GOP members. You have even fallen for their socialism ideals. So sad. The letter continues by saying that Trump isn't perfect, but he's a Christian and he's been endorsed by a lot of people on the evangelical far right, so he should still be accepted as a good Christian leader. You should be very proud that you have lost the respect of Lou Dobbs, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Greg Kelly, and most importantly in our book, Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh. It is now most embarrassing that we are related to you. You have embarrassed the Kinzinger family name. And then they say basically that he's going to have a hard time fundraising. We should ask for our money back. And then they sign the letter, Greg and Karen Otto, and say, look, we have a bunch of family members that agree with us. And those people are listed below, but their names are blanked out. And basically, Kinzinger provided this letter to the New York Times. This was a letter sent to him personally. You see, it's in handwriting. And they've sort of sent it off. They sent copies of it to other GOP officials. But this is a personal letter from his family. They are so furious at him for standing against Donald Trump. And look, a lot of this is ridiculous. Kinzinger is not even really a moderate Republican. He is not, he does not respect a woman's right to choose. He doesn't. He is not a purple Republican, but he just happens to be a guy that doesn't like Donald Trump, doesn't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and doesn't like what they've done to the Republican Party, and doesn't like the pure negative politics of Trumpism. And I think that's like a reasonable position, even if I disagree with him on 99% of the issues. And this is what happens to him. He didn't just get a letter saying we politely disagree with you. He didn't just get a letter saying, we've made donations to you, but because you stood against Trump, we'd like our money back. Like, those are reasonable takes, I would suggest. But these are letters from family members basically disowning him, basically saying you've shamed our family and that you've disappointed God, that God is directly partisan on this question, that God has chosen to rule in favor of Donald Trump on impeachment, and to go against God's ruling is to go against God. And it's also within this language here about Trump being a good Christian because he's been endorsed by right-wing pastors, and also, crucially, calling Democrats and the media the devil's army. It's totally mask off. They are literally saying it's us versus the Democratic Satanists, the Democratic demons and monsters, and you have to choose. And you've chosen the devil. We're with God and Trump, our God Emperor Trump. When I've said that, they see Trump as a God king, I'm not exaggerating. They don't necessarily see Trump as God-like, but they see him as God's chosen leader on this planet and divinely inspired. They really do. They really do. They see him as inspired by God. And so these people can't be reasoned with. They can't be. This is how they treat fellow Republicans. And this is at the same time where every Republican basically at the Senate level, all 7 of them that took a stand against Donald Trump on the impeachment trial and voted the right way to convict, they've been getting hammered. Here's a clip from a GOP figure in Pennsylvania basically saying about Pat Toomey, we didn't send him to Washington to do the right thing. We sent him there to defend Donald Trump.
No longer represents them.
We did not send him there to vote his conscience. We did not send him there to do the right thing or whatever he said.
This is the Republican Party. This is the party. There is no dissent on Trump. There's none. This is why I'm telling people that as much as you want to give some kudos to Kinzinger and all these other people that took the stand knowing that they would get absolutely hammered by right-wing media and apparently their own family and friends and neighbors, the reality is their party is beyond salvaging. It is. This is the Republican Party now. It is not, Donald Trump as an anomaly. He is the Republican Party and the Republican Party is him. So it's just, don't fall for these stories getting a lot of coverage and then carrying that to say, oh geez, there's a kernel of decency in the Republican Party and maybe we can help nurture that to sort of push out Trumpism and push out the Tucker Carlsons and the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Donald Trumps and these sorts of people. It's not gonna happen. It's their party now. And so I don't want people to allow this to legitimize. And as I've said before, this applies to Democrats as well. We have to really challenge Pelosi and Biden and those sorts of neoliberal Democrats when they say, oh, the Republican Party can be salvaged after Trump. And all we need to do is see a strong, principled, decent, pro-democracy Republican Party. It's not going to happen. The Republican Party is a cult. And the only way to survive as a democracy is to have that cult destroyed.